Would like to call the order of the Pleasant Grove City Council meeting this evening on this Tuesday, May the 3rd, 2022. And we have all council members present except for one. Councilmember Anderson is excused this evening. And we welcome all those who have joined us from our public and our city administrators this evening. We'll start out this evening by Pledge of Allegiance by Kyler Lugwin, our Assistant City Manager, after which we'll have the opening remarks by Councilmember Bullock.
Will the audience please rise?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our dear Father in heaven, we come before Thee this evening as we meet as a city council for the city. We're grateful for the privilege we have to serve. Ask that Thou would bless us to make wise decisions on behalf of those citizens. We ask Thee, Father, to bring people together. We're asking that Thy Spirit would spread to those who are suffering, and we ask these blessings, and we do so in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Kyler and Brent. Need a motion to approve our meeting agenda this evening. I don't think there's any changes.
Yeah, no changes.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda.
Second.
We have a motion, and do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. It will now move to item number 5, our open session, and invite anyone to come forward at this time and like to address the council.
I am Mark Besant. I'm here with two hats on this evening. One is a private citizen, one is chairman of the Pleasant Grove Metropolitan Water Board. First, as the chairman of the Metropolitan Water Board, I want to acknowledge two exceptional employees here in Pleasant Grove. One is Denise Roy, that sits here to my right. That's the finance director. She assists us on the Metropolitan Water Board and also on Pleasant Grove Irrigation Board. She is absolutely exceptional employee, and I'm glad that we have a person of that quality here in Pleasant Grove. The next one is Kathy Kresher, the city recorder. Kathy is also assists us on the Metropolitan Water Board and just does a marvelous job. She is so exacting and helpful and polite. It's wonderful to have someone, Kathy I know has been here in the city for many, many years. And I also wanted to compliment the council and mayor and city administrator for selecting the new public works director, Neil. I think you made an excellent choice there. He seems to be a good fit. And we're looking forward to working with Neil on the Metropolitan Water Board and also with Pleasant Grove Irrigation as we move the city forward with heavy responsibilities that he will carry. The second hat I have is one as just a regular citizen taxpayer. That is just to simply say that some of the best money I spend is to pay my taxes to Pleasant Grove. When I get my bill each year for property taxes and look at what goes to Pleasant Grove, I think 2 thumbs up. It's money well spent. Just wanted to state that. I don't know that everyone comes in and says that to you. A lot of people are members of the Bitch and Moan Club and like to bitch and moan about almost everything that goes on, but I'm grateful for the wonderful community that we have to live in, the wonderful services that we have here in the strawberry city of Pleasant Grove. That's all I have to say this evening. Thank you. If you'll excuse me, I've got some other commitments this evening. And I shouldn't just ignore. Oh, the time's up, right?
Oh, yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. Denise just added 3 more minutes.
She runs a timer, yeah, just go on.
She just stopped that time.
Somehow the clock just was malfunctioning, right? But in singling out these people, I don't want to not recognize the many good people that I run into and associate with that serve this community in so many ways, and a number of them are still sitting here, from the public library director in the back, farthest back there, right on through to Dion and others that are here in the community, and just met Kyler here this evening. We'll look forward to getting to know him better. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I just had, sorry, my name's
Would you give
Rachel.
us your, yeah, give us
Rachel
your name.
Davis.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Rachel Davis. So I just had a concern about people driving on the Murdoch Trail. Via 350 North in Pleasant Grove. So I don't know if there's a way to like put barriers so that the cars can't drive along the trail there. I don't know what can be done, because I know some people need to cross it to get to their houses, is what I've heard, that some people's houses are straight across. So I don't know if there can be barriers like on either side so people that need to get across can get across, but that people can't just drive down the trail. Because I was
I'm
thinking,
sorry, Mayor, what was the address? I don't know where.
so it's 350 North. There's like a dirt,
Is it like you're in that cul-de-sac area?
I'm on that street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I see lots of cars just driving there and getting to their houses faster by driving down the trail and then getting to their houses. So I don't know. I talked to an officer about maybe putting up some blockades, and they told me to talk to you guys
Sorry,
about
I'm still
it.
out there. East 350 North, what east and west?
It's it's at that cul-de-sac, right there, the brown property's on the other side there.
So maybe something similar to what we have before they hit like a main intersection? Some of
Yeah.
those barriers that could be.
Yeah, so they've got ones just so that like strollers and bikes and little kids can get through there, but not cars. So the cars can't fit through. And I know they've got some barriers like along the trail.
So
But-
residential cars are just using it as a shortcut?
Yeah, it's not marked cars. It's not police cars or city cars. They're just residents
Yep.
trying to.
What you
Get
need to do when
there
that happens
faster.
is call the police department immediately and have them respond to a
Okay.
car on there.
Yeah, I called them and I didn't have the license plate, so they couldn't.
Okay.
And maybe
Do
by
any-
the time they get up there, they could be gone.
The what?
I'm assuming that maybe by the time they get up there, they could be gone.
Yeah, I don't think.
So, okay.
I mean, I'll try my best to.
We'll take a look at that and see what
Okay.
we can.
Is it possible to put barriers on there, Dion?
I like that
Or,
idea.
I mean, I don't know who would do
Is-
that.
On the entrance, like on
Yeah.
that entrance.
Yeah,
Is there just one home or two homes
There's
that access
there's
that?
2 homes, I think, that
No one else
need.
can come through their
Three
their
homes.
property and down?
I think so. I'm not sure. I haven't done all of my research, but because I mean, I want the cars to still be able to get their houses, the ones that need to. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll take a look at that.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that
Thank
up.
you.
thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like come address the council? Now, we'll now close our open session and bring it back up here, and we'll move on to item number 6, our consent items this evening, which include the city council meetings for our March 29th, 2022 meeting, and the council minutes for the April 12th, 2022 meeting. And B, to consider approval of payment request number 4 for Skyline Electric for the 1100 North 1800 North 100 East Signal Project, and consider approval of payment request number 3 for J. Lynn Roberts and Sons for the Manila Pond Booster Station, and consider approval of payment request number 1 for Cody Elk Construction Incorporated for the 1100 North Street and Utility Improvement Project. And our final one, consider for approval payments, approval for reports for April the 21st, 2022. So I ask for a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve tonight's consent items as read by you.
We have a motion by Councilmember Jensen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Bullock. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We have no board, commission, or committee appointments this evening or presentations. And we do have two public hearings this evening. First one is 9A, public hearing to consider for adoption Resolution 2022-023, amending fiscal year 22 budget comprehensive fee schedule for providing for a reasonable fee for culinary water connections that have inoperable meters, resulting in zero usage, and billing for the sewer service when the property is actually using culinary water, and providing an effective date.
I'll take this one. Anytime you have a mechanical means of collecting data, you're subject to some problems. And there are occasionally zero read meters where we don't get any water consumption, and we don't read meters through the winter. That's when we collect the data to know what to bill for sewer. So we get these zero reads throughout the winter, and we don't have a means by which to bill for the sewer. So when a meter is first installed, we don't have history, and we bill them 6,000 gallons. What we're asking tonight is to allow us to bill half of that, so 3,000 gallons for sewer, which is a very small amount, when we have zero read meters throughout the winter. We get the list, and then we go and try to troubleshoot and find out if it's a meter problem or a communication problem or some other problem that's resulting in these zero reads. But we have no way to bill them until we collect the next year's sewer information from the winter usage. I hope that's sufficiently unclear.
Any questions?
No, that's great.
Okay, I think that'll work. Director? So with that, I ask for a motion. No, excuse me. I have a motion. We'll now open our public hearing and invite anybody to come forward and address the council on this resolution. Okay, I see no one approaching, so we'll now close it and bring it back up to the council for either further discussion or a motion.
Neil, is this what most cities do? I mean, it sounds like a problem that's got to be resonating in other cities.
Yeah, a lot of cities will use the previous year's winter data,
Sure.
which would be actually more cost to them.
Yeah.
So we felt like this was a good compromise to just have a small minimum to be able to charge them until we can get the meter and the zero read fixed.
And then once it's read, or then you balance it and charges are charges.
Yeah, until we can get to the next winter's usage, then we would then charge the way we charge everyone else, yes.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, thanks.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2022-023, amending the fiscal year 2022 budget comprehensive fee schedule and providing for a reasonable fee for culinary water utility connections that have inoperable meters, resulting in a zero usage and billing for sewer services when the property is actually using culinary water, and providing for an effective date.
I have a motion by Councilmember Williams. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Jensen. And we'll start out with Councilmember Bullock.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. We'll go on to our next public hearing for this evening, which is 9B. Public hearing to consider for adoption ordinance 2022-14, applying the general commercial zone, CG, to approximately 0.90 acres of property zoned the Grove Mixed Housing, GRV, MH, located at 672 West, 220 South, and providing for an effective date. Director.
Mayor, Council, today I'm not gonna connect with the cable, so I'm gonna use the wireless capabilities. So if you allow me for 1 second, I'll have a couple images I would like you guys to see. Zone about .9, almost 1 acre of land that right now is located. It looks like this computer won't support it. Sorry about that. And we're back on business. I like this. All right. So the proposal is to rezone .9 of an acre, so almost an acre, on this property right here that is located on 672 West and 220 South, almost right in front of our rodeo grounds. This is where our rodeo grounds are, and we're talking about this corner, this property right here, the one on 672. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit so we can see. This line is a little bit incorrect. When we put the layer, it was moved, but it goes all the way to the property line, kind of like around right here. This area, or this .9, this area right here that I'm pointing out with the mouse, it's been used for commercial for a long, long time. Actually, it's something really nice that I did. I pulled out this picture of the area from 1997. And we can see in 1997 that building already exists right there when none of the residential around existed. If we take a look at a future picture, I'm gonna go to 2006, we can see that again, that building already exists. The corner is very well delineated and no residential uses exist around that time. So the commercial use of the land has been used for the last, I'm gonna say, since the inception of that property. Right now, if we go to the images or the pictures that we have right now, we can see it like this. Now it got surrounded by this development, which is in the mixed housing sub-district. And usually when we zone, we don't do zigzags, we go straight lines. And this area got encapsulated in the mixed housing. So the use of that property, and I think I have an aerial street view of that. So the use of that property, if you guys have driven through that area, I don't know if you've seen, there used to be some U-Haul vehicles. I can see right there. Some of them, they used to be full of these type of vehicles right there. And then eventually they have some RVs parking, and it's being used for the parking of vehicles. One thing that is important about this property is that since it's being used for commercial, when this residential came out, they already built this fence right there that delineates exactly. It helps a lot to mitigate the use, and usually we build that between residential and commercial uses. When the applicant came to our office and he wants to obtain a new business license to do a different type of business, probably to run an office or any type of business that will be allowed in this area right here, commercial, not manufacturing, but commercial, we have to say no because it's not zoned for that. So what the applicant is saying, he wants to keep it commercial, but so he would like to extend this blue zone, the commercial general, into this corner and take away this corner from the mixed housing sub-district. In other words, if the applicant will come to us and say, hey, I would like to put some townhomes in there, the answer at this point should be yes, because the zone allows it. He wants to keep it commercial. He wants to use it for commercial uses. Therefore, a rezone is required for this parcel. This item came to the Planning Commission. Some neighbors show up. They were concerned a little bit. They came to the Planning Commission. We explained to them that nothing is going to change because it's been commercial and it's going to keep being commercial. And the recommendation from the Planning Commission was a unanimous recommendation of approval to rezone that .9 from mixed housing to CG or commercial general. That's what I have, Mayor and Council.
Any questions for Dan?
Yeah, I've got a question. Go to the other photo.
The street view?
That's fine. Well, no, the other one. It's fine. You just go back to the original one. Yeah, that's fine. So is there a driveway right here?
Yes,
Yeah.
there is. There is.
So if, let's just go do a for instance here.
I'm going to show you it in aerial view so we can see it better. It's coming. So we can see it that way better. There you go.
Let's pull back a little bit though.
Pull back, okay.
So ultimately we have, these are all houses,
Yes, sir.
and in the middle of this subdivision, we have a driveway for a commercial building.
There's a crash gate in there right now. That's for emergency.
Yeah.
Emergency only. So it's closed.
It's closed all the time.
Okay. It's a concern, though. Concern that we'd be opening up commercial into a residential piece of property. But been interested to see what the public has to say.
Was that put in as part of the development for the residential?
Yes.
And did they work that out with the current business owner?
Of course, yes. So the commercial was there first. So when the residential came, because this commercial, they used to own the entire property, as we can see in the picture from 2007. So when they came right here, they needed to provide that for fire department requirements and safety requirements. They have to have a two-way access, but they put a crash gate in there. So it's close. But
What would be the amended uses that they could use that property for in a commercial zone?
Well, the list is large. That's a question that it was asked at the Planning Commission, and is pretty much the uses that are here along State Street. These uses right here. The applicant is proposing to go to CG, not to manufacturing, which are the uses that are in front or right here. So their uses are less intense than manufacturing. No manufacturing is allowed, but commercial uses are. Office uses, I mean, every use that is right here, we have someone that I think the water business is right there, and we have a dancing area right here.
So not necessarily construction or industrial type
No.
usage.
That's not a zone for industrial or for manufacturing.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
So, do you know what the intention of the applicant is to change this differently? Is he
Yes,
planning
he
on-
wanted to use it for offices for his business. I think he runs he's a developer, so he has different, yeah.
So how many stories is allowed in there? I mean, could you have 3, 4, 6, 10?
Definitely, the residential will be allowed taller than the commercial, for sure. I don't know for exactly the number, I can check for you.
No.
Yeah, I mean, to Brent's point, if you tear the building down, what could you put in there under the new zone?
Yeah.
Well, that building, as how it is, that's the building that fits perfectly in the commercial. So what you can do, all these buildings right here, they're brand new buildings, and those buildings.
Daniel, what they're asking is if the property owner decided to repurpose the property and tear down what they have,
Mhm.
how tall can they go?
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, and what could they build to impact that property?
Okay. If you give me, I don't know if we want to open it to the public or something like that, or I'll look, search for the information and I'll come back with an answer? Yeah? Okay.
Okay, we'll now open our public hearing for anyone to come forward on ordinance 2022-14.
Hi, I'm Ron Beeson. I live at 721 West, 180 South, Unit A, which is in the residential Strawberry Creek Villas 55-plus community. I don't have a problem with it, but one of my neighbors who faces it, so she's due north of the back of that commercial property.
Right in here?
Yes, she's on the end unit that faces 700 West. So she asked me to be here because she's out of state right now, but she has concerns with that. One question I have is, there is a business that is due north of Strawberry Creek Villas. They tend to make a lot of noise early in the morning. I think trucks coming and going. I don't live on that end, so it doesn't bother, although I can hear it sometimes at 5:30, 6 in the morning. So I imagine the people on the north end have gotten used to it, but it is something you can hear. So there are some concerns with what kind of business they're going to put in there, and I recognize that it was a U-Haul, and there's RVs parked there now, and there were U-Haul trucks there, so people can come and go, but that lady that lives in that unit due north of it, and her front door faces it, she's concerned with what's going to be there, how it's going to affect her visibility, which it's not that pretty right now for her, but also noise and hours and things like that.
Do you know if there's usage from that gate?
The gate is locked. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that gate this gate right here?
Yes, it's locked. It was
that's
required by
always-
the city, so there would be 2 entrances to the community. The
But
rest,
it's not used as far as you know?
I've maybe seen it open once unlocked, but it's
Okay.
not used. It was just required, and so basically we have 1 entrance
Mhm.
in and out of the residential community. That one serves as a second in emergency if you need to. I don't know, somebody's gonna go.
It wouldn't even be able to be used in an emergency because it's blocked by all the RVs, so I don't even know how our emergency could even access it.
I'm not sure if they're parked directly in so that you couldn't get through there if you had to, but somebody'd have to cut the lock off.
So is it emergency, just so I'm clear, Daniel, or is it emergency for the residents, or is it emergency access for the building?
For both. If you see for the residents, they only have 1 access.
Off 840, right?
Yeah, it's for the residents. It's not for the building.
So I wasn't here when that was developed, but right now, if someone wants to develop something like that with that loop, we will require more than just 1 exit. So I would say for both of them. I think since the commercial was already there and the residential came, I will assume that it was more a requirement for the residential than for the commercial.
I think it was required for the developer who built the residential to have 2 entrances, 2 access points for the neighborhood. But
That seems odd to go through a commercial private business as a emergency exit.
I think it's more for, and again, I'm speaking out of, we'll have to go back to the file and see exactly how it was, but I think for the fire department, it will be easier to approach it right here and crash that, because it's a crash gate, so you can hit
Agreed.
it, and get right here,
Okay.
than going all around and that type of stuff. I
Got
think
it.
that's the reason why.
Okay.
was it the property owner, the business owner, did he own the property that sold?
No.
Strawberry Villas?
No.
Okay,
No, the person who just a different person, yeah.
okay.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll bring it back up here for further discussion, and if Daniel, if you've got that building height there, so that's,
Yes, give me 1 more second and I'll come back with it.
So actually, where they're at now, it's non-conforming what they're doing there because when that got rezoned from what it's supposed to, it should have stayed.
Just
So
a
we're just
commercial.
correcting what happened.
Yeah.
Well, Tina's not here, but if it's legal non-conforming, but then the person wants to change the use, they would lose their legal non-conforming status.
And I think, to Brent's point, we're just concerned about what is the intended use? Yeah, because that's really close to someone's house.
Okay, so just in regards of height, if you go to the CG, the maximum height you can have right there is 65 feet for a commercial building. If you stayed on the zone that it is, you can go 4 stories, whatever that is. You could go about 45, 50 feet, something like that. Yeah, for mixed housing.
So you could go 2 stories bigger,
Probably, yeah.
commercial.
Mm-hmm.
No, it'd be
Well,
So we
45
allow-
45 to 65, 20
2
feet,
stories.
20 feet higher.
2 stories. 2 stories, we can say that. 2 stories, yeah.
CG, what's right next to it there?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's CG. So, and the reason why I make the comment about these buildings right here is because this is the newest buildings that were built on the CG. So these buildings, for example, right here, they were built when the CG didn't even exist. That's when all the entire area was manufacturing. So that's when we end up with this type of buildings. Right now, if someone wants to come and this type of building, it won't be allowed. So that's why I mentioned these buildings. These buildings were built in the last 7 years. When I was already here when they were building this. So that would be something typical that someone would build in that zone.
And what was the vote of the planning commission?
Unanimous to rezone.
I mean, ultimately, it's not residential, it's commercial. You know, it's
Daniel, let me-
commercial now.
Yeah. You said at one time the owner owned all this, and then they sold off, that's how that came about, that.
Oh, no, I thought that's what you asked.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, what I thought the question is the owner right now the one who owns, because the person who owns this property right now or the one who submit the application, J.D. Brace, is not the same owner in the past.
No, but, I mean, that might explain, if the owner of this property at the time that this was
Yeah.
sold and developed owned all of this, it would make sense that.
Sorry.
And potentially that's the case.
Probably was.
That's
Yeah,
the
that
case.
makes
That's why I
sense.
brought that because it's,
So the owner at the time, I'm assuming there was an interest on both sides. He wanted the second access so
For
that
sure.
the property could be developed, and he also needed the second access for his commercial property to stay. I would think that would be why they did it.
and that's my guess as well. That's why I brought this historic picture so we can see that the building already exists, the same footprints, the same roof, the same color right there. The building's right there, and you can see how it was used for the entire property. I think this was the office of the business that was around that time, and that's just assuming looking at that picture. I mean, that business was there since 1997. If I go at an older picture right here, the one from 1997, you can see the building is already there. So that was my assumption based on historic images.
Okay, any other questions, council?
Nope.
Okay. I call for a motion.
We're so quiet. Before I make a motion, I'd like to see him, if you go back, I mean, I really don't see how it's kind of tight for our fire truck to even get in there if they're going to use it as a second entrance, right? So before I make, maybe we have Gail go visit, I don't know.
And just we don't know what his intended usage is.
No, it could be any of the commercial uses that are allowed on the property next to it. Now, if we take a look at this again, this is the boundaries, right? And right here, that's where if you look at those buildings, those are industrial buildings. They were built before. I'm pretty sure there's many legal non-conforming uses right here. If we rezone to DCG, we make sure the uses that go in there are uses that only belong to the CG. This zone is different than the one across the street. The one across the street is manufacturing, flex space, industrial, right? This one is commercial only.
I think what the concern is, I mean, these are like one story, and they back up against these residents here, but when you said 65, I bet that gets a lot of people thinking.
That it could be a concern that wasn't asked or brought up to the meeting, but these guys right here, if they demo these buildings and they go 65, they can do it.
Sure.
They can do it right now.
It fits commercial, for me, it fits commercial better than residential anyway. So I'm inclined to approve it. But the ambiguity scares me.
Well, if you don't take it back commercial, leave it open for some more multi-housing there,
Right.
up to 4 stories. Is that right, Daniel?
Yeah, and then and I'm not into real estate, but I guarantee that multifamily is worth more. Like people will search for that right now more than commercial. I think that the applicant keeping it commercial is
Is it the same owner that's owned that building for?
No.
When did he change it, or when did he move?
That was,
I don't know.
Ash Rock Ready Mix there. with
Yeah,
silver
no,
or
no.
something.
He mentioned he just bought it. It's J.D. Brace. He's has worked with different projects with the city, but he's not here today. Yeah, but he's a new owner. He purchased the property, thinking that it was commercial along because it's been used for commercial the whole time. He submitted an application to run as an office, and we have to deny it because we say. If you go for apartments right now, we will say yes, but if you go for an office, we have to say no because of the zone.
Mayor, I'll make a motion.
Okay,
Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2022-14, applying the general commercial zone to approximately .90 acres of property zoned the Grove, mixed housing located at 672 West, 220 South, and providing for an effective date.
I have a motion by Councilmember Williams. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Jensen. And we'll start out with Councilmember Bullock.
No.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes. We finished our public hearings for this evening. We'll now move on to our action items ready for vote this evening. And we'll move to 10A, consider for adoption resolution 2022-024, adopting the Pleasant Grove City tentative budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022 and ending July 30, 2023, which includes a comprehensive fee schedule and providing for an effective date. Director Roy.
I'm just going to mention a couple things. We talked about it earlier. Something different this year on page 2, just right before the one-pager. We were looking through state code. It looks like they want us to have an executive budget summary, and so I've included that this year. It just kind of gives a summary of the one-pager and total capital projects and some other things, so just wanted to make you aware of that. And then Scott already talked about the one-pager. And the other item that is included, it starts on page 23 and 24, and instead of listing all the capital projects on one page and making it like a font of one, it's still pretty small, but I attached the detail of all the capital projects that we're proposing. And so you've seen that a bunch, but I included it in the budget document. And then the fee schedule starts on page 31. And I think other than that, everything's about the same. And so if you have any questions, I did put it out on Dropbox electronic, but I gave you all a hard copy. So if you have any questions, give me a call. And then when you're adopting the resolution, if you'll mention 2 dates. August 2nd will be when we're proposing to hold the public hearing to consider the possibility of holding the certified tax rate for fiscal year 2023. And then setting August 16th as a date to hold our public hearing and adopt the final budget. And so Scott mentioned those dates, but Kathy just wanted us, when you adopt the resolution, just to mention those 2 dates.
Sorry, what was the first date again?
August 2nd
Okay, August 2nd.
and August 16th.
Thank you.
Anything else for Denise?
Yeah, on page 35 on Rec Center, I'm not sure how popular the Halloween Fest is. Maybe we should just get rid of anything Halloween.
It's actually their most popular event, so. It is. Am I wrong?
Okay, thank you. Director Roy? Okay. Now, this is the tentative budget. So as for a motion on adopting resolution 2022-024.
Can we tentatively agree?
Mayor, I make a motion to adopt resolution 2022-24 as read by the mayor.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Jensen, a second by Councilmember Lamone. We'll start out with Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
And Councilmember Bullock.
Yes.
Question, Kath? And I'll amend my motion to include fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2022, and ending June 30th, 2023. What, is that what you're talking about?
Public hearing on August 2nd.
I'd like to reframe what Councilmember Jensen is implying, that the public hearing dates will be August 2nd,
Oh,
2022, and August 16th, 2022.
Thank you.
I don't think
Councilmember.
refrain is the right word, but appreciate
I would like
what you
to
Appreciate
correct,
what you said.
correct? I was trying to be nice and come up with a positive word
I don't think
instead
that
of
word means
correct.
what you think it means.
I was trying to be nice,
Kathy-
okay? It was on the fly.
Kathy and Councilmember Lamone, thank you.
Trying to pull your Halloween funding.
I know. I was a little shaken and I apologize for the wording.
I appreciate everybody's help tonight with Councilmember Jensen.
Thank you.
We'll move on to 10C, which is to consider for adoption resolution 2022-026, authorizing,
Sorry, Mayor.
nope, excuse me. We're up on 25, excuse me.
Mayor,
Yes.
apparently we need to redo the vote with the amended motion, if we could do that.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
no. What happened now?
So much for tentative.
That's right. Okay. Let's back up.
I'm just going to totally pull my motion and let Sid do the motion.
What happens when Tina's not here?
Yeah.
We've had a motion, we've had a second. I think we know what we're voting on now totally, so we will start out the other direction. We'll start out with Councilmember Bullock,
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen,
Oh, yes.
Councilmember Lamone,
Yes.
and Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Things we do when we don't have legal counsel here, so anyway. Okay, now go to 10B, consider for adoption resolution 2022-025, authorizing Pleasant Grove City Parks Director to submit an application for the 2022 Utah County Commission Municipal Recreation Grant for improvements to be made to the Chrisville Park, Mahogany Park, the Veterans Park, Kiwanis Park, Hill Park, and Discovery Park, providing for an effective date. Director Giles.
Mayor and Council, this year for our Utah County Recreation Grant, we decided to upgrade a lot of the old benches, trash receptacles, and add a table out to the Discovery Park on that south concrete pad that was part of the project that we have. This will be one of the last things for the Discovery project. We'll install all the ones that aren't on concrete pads, and make sure they're not removable. There's been a few requests from citizens, Mahogany Park and Chrisville Park, where we either have old benches that are old and wood and just not very attractive. These will be the same style of benches that we've installed the last few times in our projects with Pleasant Grove City logo on them, and they'll be pretty nice.
Any other questions for Dion?
So all the bins and benches will be metal?
That's what we're moving forward to, yes. In these locations that will be. We'll replace the old wood trash receptacles with the nice new metal ones, and then the old wood benches with new metal benches.
Like that?
Okay. And no other questions? I ask for a motion on resolution 2022-025.
I'm too afraid to make a motion right now, so let someone else do it.
I'll
I'll
make
do
a
it.
motion
Okay, Brent, go ahead.
to adopt resolution 2022-025 as read by the mayor.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Bullock, a second by Councilmember Lamone. And we will start out with Councilmember Bullock,
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Passes. Now move to 10C, to consider for adoption resolution 2022-026, authorizing the mayor to sign addendum number 3 to the cooperation agreement for the non-district use of district lands within the Metropolitan Water District of the Salt Lake and Sandy and Pleasant Grove City applicant, and for the installation of solar-powered streetlights within the SLA corridor on Grove Creek Drive and providing for an effective date. Director.
So there is a solar-powered streetlight that we installed up at the trailhead to try and help with deterring crime, and it happened to lie just inside of their official right-of-way, which is inside a pretty large corridor for the Salt Lake Aqueduct. We have an existing agreement with them for various crossings and various uses, and this is an addendum to just simply include that solar-powered streetlight up there.
Looks on the map that what, it's about 2 feet into there?
Yeah, just barely.
Can't you bend the pole out? And go like
We tried to take a different picture, but it still landed in there.
Any other questions? Not ask for a motion. Thank you. Director.
Make the motion that we adopt resolution 2022-026, authorize the mayor to sign addendum number 3 to the cooperation agreement for the non-district use of district lands, and the remainder of this resolution as read by the mayor.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Lamone, a second by Councilmember Jensen. And we will start out with Councilmember Bullock.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Carries. Now move to 10D. Consider for adoption Resolution 2022-027, authorizing the mayor to declare a 1998 Dodge pickup truck, a 2002 Ford truck, and two 1997 Freightliner F-70 trucks as surplus, and directs that they be disposed of according to the city's policy, disposing of surplus property, providing for effective date. Director.
All but the 1998 pickup truck are associated with the VW grant and replacement. Those have had holes drilled in their block and will be scrapped. The 1998 will be sent to auction, and it's reached its useful life.
Any other questions?
Just so everybody understands, part of this grant, in order to receive it, we cannot resell the 3 vehicles. We do have to dispose of them, so that's what Neil was explaining. We might give the fire department a chance to do a little training on them before we send them to scrap metal, but just so you're aware.
Okay, thank you. So ask for a motion.
Mayor, I make for a motion of adoption of Resolution 2022-27, authorizing the mayor to declare a 1998 Dodge pickup truck, 2002 Ford truck, and 2 1997 Freightliner F-70 trucks as surplus, and directs that they be disposed of according to the city's policy in disposing of surplus property and providing for an effective date.
We have a motion by Councilmember Jensen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Bullock. We'll start off with Councilmember Bullock.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
And Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries. So thank you. Now move on to 10E, to consider award of S&L Incorporated, the Discovery Park Tennis Court Rehabilitation Project bid in the amount of $1,189,265, and authorize the mayor to sign the notice of award, and authorize the mayor to sign the notice to proceed and agreement upon receipt and approval of the final contract documents.
It's going to be me.
To our administrator.
We covered most of this in the work session, but by way of information, S&L, their bid was $1,189,265, of which would be awarded. The bidder number 2 was Jalen Roberts and Sons. Their bid was $1,347,000, $885, which was about $150,000 more than SNL. So we recommend SNL to be awarded the bid.
Any further discussion, council?
I have some questions. So part of, sorry. There we go. I've just got a couple of questions. So part of this discussion, when we had some residents come in and talk about, have some concerns about this property and the development of pickleball courts at Discovery Park, there was some conversations about the tennis courts at the high school.
Yes.
And we were going to have just a nice friendly conversation.
Yeah.
To remind a few people that we own those courts.
Yes. Well, no, we don't own them,
We
but they are
do
open to
something.
the public.
Okay.
That was part of the deal, right?
Yeah.
Remind them of the deal, I guess. So we've got
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 8 tennis courts at the high school.
Uh-huh.
What conversations have happened since that time?
So we met with the tennis coach, went through the agreement. The understanding is we wanted to keep them locked to keep vandals from messing things up. So the city has the lock on it. We're the ones with the key to it.
To how many courts?
To 4 of the 8.
Okay.
So I mean, if we want to go back to school and say we want all 8 open, we can.
Of course, fine. I just was curious
It's because
kind of where we are.
we've never had anybody come in and say, we can't find a tennis court to play on. And
Right.
so 4 gets us, in my opinion, to the needs that we have. So we have the lock, we have the key, we're the ones who check out the key. So that's just for those 4 courts, and then, of course, we have our, 4, we have 6
have
at
8.
Discovery.
So we would have 8 if we still did the funding.
Yeah, we
the
would
city
have
still
8
have
tennis
8
courts.
tennis courts. What I would suggest, and maybe council, if you think this is appropriate, I would love it if we could do a sign on those 4 courts that says, on the courts at the high school, that says, these are open tennis courts. You just need a key.
And where to go to
Well,
get
so
And where to
we
go to get
already,
the key.
that sign's already exists.
It's already up?
Tyler? Yeah, we have a sign that says, if you want to play on these courts, come down to the rec center and check out the key.
Oh, okay.
Is it Tyler, is it a pretty good sign? Because I guess what makes me question it is the people on the tennis team, they're not aware of it, right? So if there's a sign on the tennis courts at the high school that say they're open for everyone to play, the players on the high school tennis team don't know that.
The coach knows it.
Well, there may be a problem, right? Then
Oh,
that's why I'm saying maybe we need a bigger sign.
Well, and so, yeah, to that point, we can look at a bigger sign. That
because-
was the conversation we had with the coach, was these are public
Yeah.
courts.
We may just need to push that
Okay,
with a
bigger sign.
I think a
8.5
nice,
by
yeah.
11. Let's make it clear, because what's happening is,
allowed to have that big of a sign.
well, I'm obviously
Yeah.
facetious, but
Yeah.
what's happening is they believe that they can't play at the high school.
Who's they?
Players on the Pleasant Grove High School tennis
Oh,
team.
really?
Varsity can. If they're on the varsity team, they can play. They can get a key from the coach. But if you're just a freshman, or if you're in
Really?
junior high
Yeah.
and you're playing tennis, you can't play tennis at the high school. You've got to go to the Discovery Park. So we need to change that,
Yeah.
or we're going to have problems.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
So we'll look at that sign, and we'll make
Yeah.
that a little bit bigger and a little more clear, so that it's understood that these
Yeah.
are public
In your
courts.
discussion, vandalism is really why they keep them locked. Why haven't we locked the Discovery Park? For example, yesterday, there were kids on the south tennis court driving a motorcycle on it, okay? And that goes on all the time,
Yeah.
skateboard, everything else.
Yeah, it's true.
So if the vandalism is an issue about putting locks on it, why don't we lock up
Our courts.
our courts?
Good call.
I would say the reason we don't is we don't have a rec center nearby to check out a key. So I don't know how to do that.
It sounds like we're gonna give Brent a special number to call.
Connie needs a key.
A special number to call and say that there's a
Yes, you
motorcycle
bet.
on
Well,
the court.
And that is an issue, it's true. I mean, we do
Yeah.
get, our nets get beat up.
Yes.
The surface gets beat up because we do have people skateboarding and those types of things. So we could, the logistics of locking them up, we'd have to think through that to see if there's a way to do that. The reason it works at the high school is because the rec center's just down the road and they can go check out the key and come back. But to do that at Discovery, to tell them they need to come to the rec center, check out a key to play on the Discovery courts, we could do that. But somebody is gonna, if they're walking to play there, then they're probably out of luck. But if they're driving a car, they just would have to take that extra step. So, I mean, if you want us to pursue that, we can do that. But it's like, it's like our playground equipment, it gets vandalized too. I mean, unfortunately, this is just human nature for some people that they see something, they feel like they have to beat it up. And so where the line is as to what we lock up or what we don't, I mean, we're willing to listen to your feedback.
You know what, this is just a suggestion. Tyler, I played tennis in high school. I was a tennis player. And there was a lock on the tennis courts, but everybody knew the lock.
They knew the code.
Everybody knew the code.
Yep.
Right? But nobody vandalized it because if you were just deviant, you wouldn't go read the sign to give you the code.
Yeah.
Right? It was just if you went, you looked, here's the code, opened it up, you played, you locked it back up. I don't know whether that would work. I'm not in rec management, but something that would protect those courts, especially since we're just about to vote on a $1.4 million facility, would be probably appropriate.
Let us think through that and see if there is a potential solution there. Because, vandalism is just frustrating on all levels. And when city invests this much money in something, you just don't want to beat up the next day.
Has there been vandalism at our pickleball courts yet?
The reason there's more vandalism at the high school tennis courts is because there's not a lot of people up there and it's kind of hidden off the main road. Discovery, there's lights, there's a lot of people coming in and out, it's next to 100 East. I mean, there's a lot of visibility and traffic. So if we do see that happening, I think we need to, at any location, we need to say something. But the tennis courts up in that area of the high school are very, I'm not gonna say very hidden, but they're away from public eye more than anything else.
I would say our issue at Discovery is not middle of the night type stuff. It's more the skateboards and the kids on their bikes.
In the middle of the day, yeah.
Yeah, in the middle of the day. And so that.
In nighttime,
yeah.
when the lights are on, they're
Yeah.
over there
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, and so that's, there is a difference between people that have intention to really beat something up and those that are just kids that are skateboarding, not even thinking twice about it. I mean, the signs say no skateboarding, I mean, it
Oh,
says
yeah.
that, but of
Yeah,
course.
part of it is education. They don't read. They can't read,
Yeah.
obviously, because they don't.
Yeah. Well, that goes for adults too, so.
Yeah. The people who come across the street with their dog on a leash, and as soon as they get to the park, they turn the dog loose. There's a
So-
sign right there.
So to the point on the high school, we'll take a look at that signage to make that a little more obvious, make sure people understand that.
I'll head there after council meeting and give you my thoughts.
Okay, yeah, do that, yeah.
Send us a picture.
Send you a picture.
Okay, any more, let's get back to our action item number E here. Any further discussion? Sid, do you have any?
No.
If not, I ask for a motion.
I'll make the motion that we award S&L Incorporated the Discovery Park Tennis Court Rehabilitation Project as read by the mayor.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Lamone, a second by Councilmember Jensen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
No, nay, no.
So it's a 3-1, so the motion carries. So we'll proceed with awarding the contract. Now, that finishes all of our action items this evening for our vote, and we'll now go back to our director's reports, and let's go with the rec department.
Mayor and Council. We are busy. We have everything going on, and just want to really put a big shout out to my full-time staff. As Sherry was mentioning with part-time staff, it is very, very difficult to staff everything that we need to right now. Just even yesterday, for softball umpires to baseball umpires, with kids' schedules into May, with everything that school's going on. Mandy's going out nightly to score keep baseball games because people canceling on her. If you see our full-time at the fields, that's because they're covering a lot of different hats right now. And I know that we're working for our part-time wages and trying to get those up. And I do appreciate that, but it's just so you know, the atmosphere is very difficult right now with that. So we're getting all of those programs going. And then we're getting the pool ready. We've been a little backed up with the pool as we've been doing some repairs. Lyndon has been awesome. We have lifeguard classes that happen in these couple weeks right now. They've allowed us to come over there and train some lifeguards. And so we're still getting things ready. We should be ready to open still, but it's just been a little delayed as we've been able to work through some of the repairs and things. So that's all I have.
Any questions? Thank you. Tyler? Dion? And Dion, thank you very much for looks like you had a lot of volunteers also today. Is that correct, on flower planting?
Yeah, we've been really busy. This is one of the busiest times of year for us. Getting our water on, fixing some repairs from winter. Utopia's not only caused Public Works some problems, but us also, and we're working through those. And then once we get a little breather, hopefully in the next week or so, we'll start doing our sprinkler checks. So we're pressured up pretty much everywhere. We do have a couple areas we still have off, just due to some mainline breaks from Utopia. Planner prep, we've been doing that. Actually, today we planned the city test out was out. In great force, they rotated staff about every hour, and we planned everything by the time I walked over here at 4, everything was done. So it usually takes us a week to do what we do with their help in a day. So it's pretty awesome. And then we had our Arbor Day celebration last Thursday. We planted a couple trees at Discovery Park. We had I think there was 6 of the Beautification Commission there. It went pretty quick. We were in and out in an hour or so it was really good. I think that's all I have.
Okay, anything else? Thanks, Dion. You
Thank
guys
you.
are doing a great job. Daniel?
Mayor, Council, I just want to give a really quick report on the process that we're following with the general plan. We finished the collection of data, so now we're going to start the drafting process. We created this website that we're hoping people of Pleasant Grove go and express their opinions. At the beginning, it took us a little bit to take off to get enough visits, but then I would like to inform that we came back and the residents expressed their opinions, so we're very grateful for that. We had about 5,000 visits to our website, and that's good numbers for us. And we had about 500 complete surveys, which is great for us as well. So our numbers went up, and I think we have the data that we need, and we have our next advisory committee meeting is going to be on the 19th. That's where we're going to present all the data that we have, and that's what we're going to tell how we're going to draft and how we're going to start putting this into words by this point. Okay, so that's what I have, Mayor and Council.
Daniel, Mayor, how did the Everbridge?
It worked well.
Okay.
It worked well. I think it was an effort of different. We use Everbridge. We use Facebook ads that help us a lot as well. And I know some of you guys help us out to spread the word. That was fantastic. Thank you very much.
Daniel, maybe if you could just, what is the one thing that surprised you out of the feedback from the general plan? One thing.
That surprised me.
Yeah, just shocked you, or,
One thing that surprised me is despite of, there's always going to be the request for better roads. There's always going to be the request for more parks. But it surprised me that our city, if we see in a map, from State Street to the west side, that's we have our commercial. From State Street to kind of like north and east, that's single family residential. And it surprised me that they appreciate that. They're really happy how we push all the commercial toward one area of town instead of having it a lot different places. That surprised me, because I remember one time someone mentioned, well, Pleasant Grove is a bedroom community, but it looks like we're okay being a bedroom community, at least on that section of the city, while we have the commercial on the other section. So that surprised me.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else for Daniel?
When is that meeting?
On the 19th. We sent an email today. I don't know if not, I'll make sure you get it. It's going to be on the 19th, Thursday the 19th at 5 p.m. It'll be here. And that's when we're going to present all the data collected from previous days.
Great.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
My pleasure, Mayor.
Yeah, now let's hear from Public Works, Director Winterton. Hey, and I have just, for 2 weeks of, I can't believe how we can generate that much garbage and green waste, and what the great job the guys are doing to facilitate that and do their other jobs too. So anyway, thank you, and pass that on to them.
Yes, I will.
They do a great job.
Staff did a tremendous job managing 30 bins that were moving constantly between the trash and the green waste, and then the metal pile still is there, and that will take some time for us to just slowly take care of that as we can. So Friday for, through the next Saturday,